How are you doing? I'm Reedland, and this is my studio, therapy sessions. So I've spent years getting the equipment and building the studio and getting it ready where I can actually do everything 100% in-house. I'm at that point now, and I'm very excited about that. So it is time to start the writing process and the recording process of the next album. You know, my last one came out around this time last year. There was no vocals on it, but I did do a lot of, subbing out of the studio for drums and bass and things like that, where on this project, I don't have to. Now, I don't have a title for the album yet. I think that will come during the writing process and whatnot of it. But let me tell you a little bit about my studio. Now, keep in mind, it took years to get to where I'm at now with the studio. I mean, I've been buying gear for a long time. And all musicians out there, you know how we do it. We buy a lot of gear constantly. But to do a quick breakdown of what I'm going to be using for the software in the album recording. So I use Reason. I've been using Reason since Reason 5. I know the system, I'm comfortable with the system. I like the way that it looks like an SSL board, which is stuff that I've used back in the day. So it's more of a comfort, and I can see the racks. For an older guy like me, it kind of looks like when I was in the studios, the bigger studios back many, many years ago. But that's why I like it. It's very easy for me to understand. I also do have Logic Pro X, much more difficult for me. Don't really use it that often. So Reason is what I'm going to be using for the making of the new album. Now, also, I've just upgraded. I have the Evo 16 with the ADAT2, the Evo SP8. So what that allows me to do is it allows me to track up to 16 tracks at the same time, which is something I've been wanting to be able to do for a long time. Because I brought into the studio Alesis Pro Strike Drum. The reason why I got that one is because it has 8 outs. Now I can do USB, which is great, which is MIDI, USB MIDI into the system, but I like to also be able to separate, have 8 tracks going in there for my drums, and then have a live band and work on that. So that's kind of the reason behind the way the system is set up here. Also in my system, I have a ton of plugins. Mainly I do have a lot of the SSL plugins, which are phenomenal, but I also have Slate. So I do have the Slate plugins as well as Slate Drum 5 and Slate Trigger. So even though I get the live drums in the system, if I still want to go back and I want to trigger them, I want to do something different to them, I do have the ability to do that. So on future videos that I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce you to some of my guitars that I have. Currently I have 13. That changes on a constant basis. And some of the amps that I have, I have some beautiful amps that I love. They're not the real expensive ones that you're going to find out there, but what they are is they're amps that I like the way they sound, like the way they feel. Not all my stuff is really expensive. Not all my stuff is cheap either. The main mic I'll be using for vocals on this album is my Lumen U87 mic. I have one of those in my vocal booth right over there. So excited about that. Had that mic for a little over a year, and it's more nostalgic for me because that's the mic I used when I worked on my first album, back in the day. So I kind of wanted to create some of the stuff that I like and I'm used to. So thank you for tuning in. Next time I'm going to actually show you some of my guitars. I'm not sure if I'm going to do each guitar video on its own. I may do a couple at a time and go from there. Awesome. Thank you.